Hi, I'm Jeanette at Home with Jeanette. I was talking to a friend of mine, Leanna. Leanna's 12, a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about baking, and she was telling me how much she absolutely loves baking. And I was telling her that when I was her age, I started baking, and one of my favorite things was to make brownies from scratch. She looked at me like I had two heads. She thought, no, there's no way I could go ahead and do this from scratch. But I want to show you exactly how easy this is. And so we're going to start out with the equipment that you're going to need to get together beforehand so that you're ready to go ahead and go. Now, the brownie recipe that we're going to do requires a double boiler. Now, this sounds a little bit scary, but really it's not too bad. I've got all the equipment right here. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Now, first of all, we have got a small pan. Okay, now in this pan, I have put about a ½ inch of water. Not very much at all. All we want to do with a double boiler is heat up the water so that the steam heats the bowl above it. So the next thing we need is a bowl that fits on top of the pan. We don't want it to go all the way in. So if you take a look at this metal bowl that I've got right here, it sets right on top of the pan. Okay, so let's take a look at this here real quick. When I lift up the pan, we do not want it to be touching the water. So we want this to be completely dry, and the steam is what's going to heat the bowl for us to melt the chocolate and the butter together. Now, the reason we do this with a double boiler is so that we don't scorch the chocolate. The chocolate itself actually needs to be warmed a little bit more delicately. Anyway, so here's the double boiler. Now, what you can do with this is you can take this double boiler here and just set it on the stove. We're not quite ready to use it yet, so just take it and set it on the stove. There we go. All right, so the other things that you're going to need for our brownies today, you're going to need a wooden spoon, a spatula, another bowl. This is a second bowl, and it doesn't have to be huge, but you don't want it to be too small. You want to have room enough to mix. And then this recipe calls for a 9x9 pan to bake the brownies in. So I don't happen to have a 9x9 square pan here at my house, so I've got a couple of options. You can use a 9-inch pie plate, or what I think I'm going to use is a 7x11 pan. So it'll just be, instead of being a square, it'll be a rectangle. Not that big of a deal, but it's going to cover about the same amount of space. All right, go ahead and get all of your equipment together, and then come back and we'll get the ingredients ready to go. We're going to break this into a couple of different segments so you have time to go get everything together. All right, I'll see you in a couple minutes.